thank you so much for being here. Please settle down. We've got a lot to get through. You're watching the Dan Corder Show. South Africa is a movie. Welcome to the watch party. Tonight on the show, we need to talk about the Sun City raid, the latest wild scandal in another sleepy South African town, and we dig into our country's gambling crisis. Also, show correspondent Mashed on Potatoes is here, whether you like it or not. I've been reading your comments. Let's get into it. And we start news worth knowing in France because Tatiana Smith last night got South Africa's first goal of the Olympics! Yes! Absolutely phenomenal. She won the 100-meter breaststroke, a word that still makes 9-year-olds giggle. She won and clearly some 9-year-olds here tonight, the 100-meter breaststroke swim on the very last stroke, guys. She was trailing by half a second at halfway through the race, and she was half a meter behind in the last stretch, but she came back to snatch the gold. Look at this.
Look at her go.
The Italian on the outside, trying to fool everyone. You've got Tong coming back from China. Medals to be decided. The lunch for the wall. It is Tatiana Smith, gold. Tong from China, silver.
Now, some of you may never have heard of Tatiana Smith. You may be thinking, I know Tatiana Schoenmaker. Do we have two superstar women breaststroke swimmers named Tatiana? Well, I'm here to save you from embarrassment at your next bride because breaking news, they're the same person. She got married, it happens, it's not that deep, but it genuinely left many South Africans confused today. So now, Tatiana has gold in 100-meter breaststroke, and she got silver in this race in the last Olympics. And also last Olympics, she won gold and broke the world record in 200-meter breaststroke. And Tatiana is now favored to win the 200-meter gold again in a few days' time. Also, fun fact, Tatiana's husband is Rachel Kolisi's brother. That family knows how to spot talent, guys. If you get on a date with someone from the Smith family, you're the future that you have got. You got to take that with both hands. And here's the most important part of the story, which all South Africans need to know. In 2016, not a single South African women's swimmer qualified for the Olympics. Not even one qualified to be in Rio. And our women's swimming community was ridiculed by many people in South Africa. They were insulted, they were mocked. It was awful. And it wasn't their fault. Women's swimming is historically underfunded and undersupported. But they were humiliated. And they responded in the most incredible way. They got together and worked and worked and worked with whatever resources they could find. And in the last Olympics, there were more South African women qualifiers than men in swimming. And this Olympics, it's the same again. And to be clear, this isn't about men versus women. That's not the point. The point is we should recognize the heroic work of our women's swimming community, what they have done to revive the sport, led by Tatiana Smith. The prompter says Schoenmaker, I pinky swear. And because Tatiana won 2 out of South Africa's 3 medals in the last Olympics, and this time she's already got our first gold. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Right, next on News Worth Knowing, Sun City, the prison, not the resort that government officials and people from the Free State think is a glamorous holiday destination. Sun City Prison is not in Sun City. It's not a part of Sun City or near Sun City. Sun City is actually the common name for Johannesburg Correctional Centre's Medium B section. Sun City, the prison, was raided by the police and correctional service officials a few days ago. And let me tell you, people of the Free State, Sun City Prison is nicer than Sun City. Just so you have an idea of how massive the Johannesburg Correctional Centre is, it has around 10,000 inmates, and most of them are held in the Sun City section. And there had been rumors of criminal networks running out of that section of the prison, not running out, but like running their criminal networks out of the prison. So last week, authorities conducted a surprise raid, and people, what they found. They found plasma TVs, Wi-Fi routers, PlayStations, which is crazy. Like, next time you play FIFA online, just remember, you may be playing against someone you really, really do not want to piss off. Like, no trick skills anymore. It's cancelled. Officials on the raid also found illegal electricity connections, the types we thought only happen in poorer neighborhoods. They found a ton of drugs, including one prison cell that was full of pre-packaged weed, packaged in little white parcels. So basically a weed shop. They had a whole dispensary in Sun City. I don't even think Sandton has that yet. They also, in their raid, found nail polish and acrylics, which left many South Africans wanting to see the Sun City prison nail techs work. Like, imagine they have a little salon in there. We'll call it Sun City Sorbet, where you get your nails done for a big night out of prison break. They also found exactly one sex toy in the whole place, which is even weirder than finding many sex toys. Like, what do you mean there was only one? Like, surely there was a big market for them among thousands of sex-deprived prisoners. Only one is really mysterious. Who owned it? Was it available for hire? Like, explain. Also, I just want to show you one image from the raid. Can we focus in on this image for a quick second? Is that Checkers 6060? Guys, that's impressive. I guess they really do deliver anywhere. I wonder if he's in there because he didn't deliver within 60 minutes. Pretty sure that's how it works. So, thousands of criminals have been living large and lekker in Sun City Prison, and we need to know how this has been happening. Officials say that contraband is being smuggled in by family and friends, and some contraband is being brought in inside prisoners' bodies. Cool. But then who brought in the plasma TV? I know South Africans have world-famous backsize, but the average plasma TV is 1.5 meters wide. That's a whole Kevin Hart in your backside. The Sun City contraband can't just be being smuggled in by friends, families, and prisoners' bodies and Checkers 6060. Correctional service officials must be involved. Guards must be involved. You might be thinking that they're all just corrupt and being paid off, and that may be true for some of them. But what is also true is that our prisons house some very, very powerful people and some very, very scary gangs. It's likely that threats and intimidation against guards are just as big a problem as bribery and corruption. Many of these correctional services officials are probably really fearful of crossing the powerful prisoners in case they or their loved ones get punished or worse. And we need our government to assert control over the prisoners and prison gangs through serious focus and resources so that gangs in prisons can be disempowered and prison guards can do their jobs without fear or danger. And we know what a massive challenge that is, guys. We all know about those gangs that are so strong that they turn prisons into their kingdoms. And often, after gangsters are released, they commit crimes and purposefully get caught to go back to jail because it's nicer for them in there. So they can go back to their prison homes where life is lekker, they have nail salons, drugstores, and plasma TVs. But Peter Groenewald is there now, at the wheel, the objectively scariest photo of any minister of the new cabinet. Let's see if he can turn our correctional services around. Next up on News Worth Knowing, what the hell is going on in small town South Africa? Last week, the tiny town of Groblersdal, Limpopo was in the news for a massive drug lab producing meth valued at 2 billion rand on a farm nearby. And this week, we're off to White River in Mpumalanga for something even crazier. And we've been talking here at the Dan Corder Show, and we think this calls for a brand new feature because mad things do be happening in sleepy dorpies far away. So please get excited for our brand new segment, Small Town Scandals. Tonight on Small Town Scandals, we're in White River in Mpumalanga, specifically the farm of Bardo Base. Mr. Base, no relation to Megan Trainor, runs a security training company out of his farm. But it turns out, if you have enough money, he's all about that basic military training of 95 Libyan fighters. South African Crime Intelligence, Home Affairs and SAPS got involved in a raid of the farm a few days ago and found a military training camp, including a trench network, bunkers, shipping containers making a shell for military-style training. The 95 Libyans were taught tactical weapons training, maneuvering in combat, room clearance, ambush, camouflage, concealment, and how to carry out assaults and defend positions. You know, standard ADT stuff. No, truly, the ADT guys sleeping at the entrance boom of your gated community know all of that. They've been there. Mr. All About That Basic Military Training does have legal permission and clearance to run a security training facility on his farm, but not a military one, so he is in trouble. And the 95 Libyans have been arrested for getting into South Africa on fraudulent visas from Tunisia. Apparently they were study visas, which I guess is technically true, because they were studying to wage and win a war, although somehow I doubt I put that on their visa applications. Also, just quickly, I don't know why, but I just feel like if you're getting a study visa to wage and win a war, you won't be going to White River. You'll be going to Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch University. Don't ask me why. It's just a feeling. And clearly y'all feel it. The 95 Libyans appear to be linked to a Libyan warlord with links to Russia who once tried to overthrow Libya's government. And there these warriors were in White River, Mpumalanga. 95 Libyans being in South Africa at all is unusual, since Libya is literally at the other end of Africa. But 95 Libyans in White River, Mpumalanga? White River, a place so small that its Wikipedia page has only 2 external links. One to a web page that looks like it was made in the 70s. And the other, which is named wearewhiteriver.com and is definitely an Indonesian betting website, where a 5-eyed devil Jimbro offers you a 20% membership discount in Indonesia. And nobody has corrected this on the White River Wikipedia page. So with a town this small, surely people must have noticed the 95 Libyans. And you know what? They did. And this is also what is so weird. Everyone in the community knew about the Libyans. Apparently they were jolling in the taverns with locals for months. Everyone knew except for the South African intelligence services. Unless they did know, but just didn't find 95 Libyans on study visas in White River and Mpumalanga at all suspicious. And after this and the Groblersdal Farm meth lab, guys, I don't know. How can we check all the farms? Because, wow, there are farms all over the country. They're remote, they're out of sight. Mostly the only people who go onto farms are the farm owners, their friends and workers. What else is going on around small towns across South Africa? Find out in the next installment of Small Town Scandals. Now it's time to welcome back Dan Quarter Show correspondent Mashed Up Potatoes is here! Mash, lovely to see you. What are you reporting on today from the front lines of South Africa?
Thank you very much, Dan. The Premier Soccer League has gone by different names over the years. The Absa Premiership, the DStv Premiership, or the Kaiser Chiefs humiliation ritual. You heard me. But recently, the PSL has found itself a new sponsor after their sponsorship with DStv prematurely ended due to people getting tired of watching Big Mama's House 8 times a month. The PSL announced their new partnership with the sporting bet giants Betway. In a sensational partnership, Betway has pledged almost R1 billion into the league and by default becoming the single biggest investor in South African football. However, this investment is not a fluke. Online gambling sites such as Betway are set to become a R1 trillion industry. In the past 2 years alone, gambling's revenue in South Africa has grown from 326 billion rand to 815 billion rand. For perspective, in the United Kingdom, a country known for vegetables lasting longer than prime ministers, they have a population of 68 million people and a total gambling market of 348 billion rand. Whereas South A, a country that has a population of 60 million, 45 of whom are Afrikaans speakers, we have a total gambling market of 815 billion rand. So, why are South Africans so attracted to gambling the way I'm attracted to Uncle Waffles? Like, call me. Instead of having to go to a dingy bar in Brakpan and playing a slot machine that works on Home Affairs time, online gambling is available on your smartphone wherever you are in the world. You don't need ID verification, and thanks to gambling adverts being everywhere like penis enlargement flies, you can tatama chance, tatama millions to yourself with just 10 Rand. But these advantages are also what makes gambling so devastating for normal South Africans. In a country like South Africa, where we are not earning enough to make ends meet, many South Africans are turning to gambling in order to put food on the table. But as soon as they hear the aviator sound fly away with their 350 Rand, players continue putting more and more money until they lose everything. And that's when it becomes a gambling disorder. Experts define gambling disorder as an uncontrollable urge to keep gambling despite the toll it takes on your life. This may include family breakups, job and financial losses, legal problems, this, that, and the third. And just like an alcohol addiction or my personal addiction to Damien Villance's thighs, gambling addiction involves an increasing tolerance that requires more and more gambling to get the same high. Due to the accessibility, convenience, and how gambling advertising has made it onto platforms such as the PSL, many South Africans who are trying to make ends meet find themselves caught in this vicious cycle of gambling. Look, the PSL creates jobs for thousands of South Africans and provides us with new ways at laughing at Kaizer Chiefs. But the PSL needs to be proactive in ensuring that they alert South Africans to responsible gambling resources such as the Self-Exclusion Program, which is a legislated program where a player may wish to exclude themselves from gambling for 6 months. During this program, players will be voluntarily banned from casinos and online gambling sites while they receive free counseling through the National Responsible Gambling Program. For better or for worse, gambling is here to stay in South Africa. But stakeholders such as Betway and the PSL need to ensure that winners do indeed know when to stop. Mash not potatoes, ENCA.
Mashed up potatoes, everybody! Thank you so much. Uncle Waffles does watch this show, so we'll let you know on the next episode if Mash got anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. Coming up in a second, we take a closer look through an expert interview into that exact gambling crisis that is afflicting our country so badly. This is the Dan Corder Show. South Africa is a movie. You're at the watch party. See you now.